Hello, my name is Jeff Hajek. I am the owner and founder of Valaction Continuous Improvement. I get a lot of traffic on my site from people looking to download the free continuous improvement content I offer. Some of the organizations they work for are easily recognizable as Fortune 500 companies, but many of the visitors to my site come from companies that are not as well known. These businesses are smaller, and many likely have only a few people. That tells me that there is a thirst for knowledge about lean from small businesses. That suspicion was reinforced by a conversation I had with an old friend when I first posted this article this video is based on. She owns a small business, and as we spoke, it became clear that she was facing a lot of the challenges that could be addressed by many of the tools I offer. I suspect that a whole lot of people are facing the same sort of challenges, especially small business owners and senior executives running small businesses, those that are under about 100 people or so. One of the challenges of being a small business and wanting to improve is that resources are limited. Often, people are stretched thin, and the company is on precarious ground, financially speaking. Bringing in help may not be a viable option. The following list is intended to help those of you in small businesses that need to take on this challenge on your own. 1. Develop a continuous improvement culture. Big companies have the option to pull people out of their work areas to participate in projects that require their full attention, such as Kaizens. Large teams have the ability to back people up when they are absent. In small companies, there is often only one person doing the work, so everything grinds to a halt if the person is gone. But that does not mean that small companies should neglect continuous improvement. In fact, if anything, it means that small companies should be even more aggressive about allocating time to making improvements. Start each month out by putting continuous improvement time on your calendar. If you don't specify the time, other things will invariably overshadow it. I tend to recommend about 10% of your time be spent on process improvement. As the month passes, feel free to shift those appointments around when the opportunity presents itself. Having a slow afternoon? Move an hour from later in the month to right then. The more opportunistic you become, the less likely it will be that you will have to actually use one of your originally scheduled time slots, which will increase your flexibility. Just make sure you don't delete appointments and never skip them. The key to this suggestion lies in having a good list of high payoff projects ready to go at a moment's notice. Here's a hint. That means planning ahead so you have all the continuous improvement materials you need for the project ready to go. It will seem painful to book over 2 full days a month to work on projects, but you'll thank yourself for doing it when you start seeing the return on that investment. You'll be surprised how the simple act of making continuous improvement a mandatory part of your operation opens the door to culture change. Number 2, gain lean skills. Large companies have the resources to arrange training, or they have in-house experts who can help teams develop their lean skills. Small businesses, on the other hand, not only have fewer resources, but they also have the problem of not knowing what they don't know. They seldom have lean experts on staff. I recommend finding mentors or support groups who can add to your knowledge. You may have some sort of networking groups in your area that can serve this purpose. In the past, I've seen some groups that meet on occasion for coffee to discuss continuous improvement concepts. Or you may use a tool like LinkedIn or Facebook to try to connect with an expert. You'll find that people are surprisingly free with their knowledge and in many cases really like helping others out. Another method is to find self-paced ways to study. DVDs and webinars are more readily available now than ever. There is even evidence that people retain more information via the internet or DVDs than they do when sitting in a classroom. To help offset the cost of lean DVDs, consider partnering with a few other small businesses to create a complimentary community library of titles that you can all draw from. You can trade your DVDs back and forth as needed. Just be sure not to run afoul of any copyright issues. This works with physical DVDs, but online content and licensed material likely can't be shared. Another option is forums and blogs and vlogs. Most give you an opportunity to ask questions. Just be careful about the source of the information. There is little quality control on open forums, and many of the responses tend to be from companies pitching their own solutions, even if that is not a perfect match to your problem. Finally, consider working with several other small business leaders and take turns hosting training events. If you get a handful of companies working together and do a monthly event, you'll get several sessions for the price and effort of one. Number 3, clearly define your strategy. Probably the biggest problem many small business owners face is deciding exactly how they want to compete in their market. They try to do everything that their big competitors do and end up spread too thin to be effective. Strategy deployment is often neglected in small companies. Because there might be nobody to deploy the strategy to in extremely small companies, and because of the time commitment, small business owners often skip this step. This is a big mistake. Strategy deployment is not just about who, it is also about what. It clarifies the processes you need to develop to hit your goals, and it highlights your strengths and weaknesses. In addition, it will cascade down to your operational metrics that you should be tracking to see if you are doing the right things right. If you don't have clearly defined goals, you won't know if you are competing successfully. Number 4, set priorities. Another benefit of having clearly defined metrics is that you will better understand the drivers of success for your company. For example, my sales are related primarily to 3 factors: visitors to my site, conversion rates, and the number of products I offer. The number of visitors to my site has gotten fairly big. I've got to add content to keep things fresh for my thousands of registered users, but as the site gets bigger, each new page has a diminishing % impact on traffic. Most of my new visitors now find my site through work that has already been done. They hear about it through word of mouth or find pages on search engines. Spending much time adding new content beyond what I need to do to keep providing my subscribers with fresh material is no longer the most effective use of my time in terms of sales growth. What gives me a higher impact now is adding new products to my site and improving how I present their value to my readers. The time I spend doing these things makes my sales go up faster than the time I spend adding new content pages to attract visitors does. Where do you think I should spend the majority of my time knowing that information? My policy deployment helps me clarify the processes I need to work on. Without using it, I might not have adjusted my approach and continued to do the wrong thing. And doing the wrong thing, no matter how well you do it, won't get you where you want to go. So now I focus on the specific actions that improve my conversion rate and get my new products posted and ready for sale. In your small business, you have to identify the drivers that will get you closer to your targets and spend the majority of your time on those things. Number 5, make friends with Mr. Pareto. Because small business owners know their processes so well, they often assume that they also know what is wrong with their processes. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. Time and time again, when I'm helping someone with a problem, I see the aha moment when they realize that they were wrong about what they thought the root cause was. Getting to the bottom of a problem can require a formal data collection effort. Don't skip this step. Even if you are right in what you believe, tracking your business from time to time will force you to really look at the details of what you do. And being close to right is not enough. Let's say you are 90% right about something. That last 10% can prevent success. Turning over rocks never hurts your company. With your data in hand, pull out all the problem-solving tools at your disposal to get to the root cause. So this section header